Hi guys, welcome back to Linda's Pantry. So today I'm going to make a really delicious pot of soup. We're going to do a beef and barley soup with tons of vegetables, and I'll show you how I do this. It's going to be delicious. We've got probably 3-4 inches of snow on the ground, and it's still snowing, so it's a good day to stay in, and I don't have to work, so let's do some beef and barley soup. If this inspires you to stay along with me, maybe go check out my Wild Tree website in the description box below, because I always use Wild Tree products somewhere along the way, it seems like, and I'm pretty sure that's going to happen today. So everything that I've tried from them is delicious. It's an all-natural, all-organic company. There's an opportunity for you to become a rep if you'd like, or just search the recipe box and maybe get some new ideas. Anyway, I hope that if you have a Facebook page, go over and like my page as well. That link will be in the description box. And well, let's go make some soup, because this is going to take us all day. Come on.
Okay guys, I thought before I started the recipe I'd show you the beautiful snow we've got going on out here. It's just gorgeous. It's quiet and still, and it's beautiful. So anyway, hope it snows all day. All right, guys. Oh, and then I get to shovel the driveway. No, maybe I don't hope. Okay, let's go make that soup. Okay, guys, I'm glad you stayed. Wasn't that snow pretty? It's just gorgeous to look at. I'm glad I don't have to get out in it, though, other than to get that driveway cleared off. Okay, so what I have here, I'm starting out, and this I'm going to give you a little rundown. This is the brand of meat that I buy here in Nevada. It's a Harris Ranch beef. It's one of only 3 ranches in the country that don't feed their animals hormones and antibiotics. So it's an all-natural premium Angus beef. So if I'm going to buy beef, that's what I buy. I don't buy cheap beef, because I have a friend who raises cows, and they feed them all hormones. So I'd prefer to have grass-fed meat, but I'm going to take the organic or the all-natural portion of it. This was $4.99 a pound, and stew meat was $3.99 a pound, but it wasn't the Harris Ranch stew meat. And then they had London broil, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to buy this chuck roast. It's $4.99. I'm going to cut it into stew meat, and that's going to be our meat for this. So I'm going to get working on this, and you want to cut this in bite-sized pieces. I don't want big giant chunks of meat lingering around in there. So I'm going to get this all cut up. I'll bring you back when I get ready to put it in the pot. Okay, so I've got the 2.5 pound roast all cut up into bite-sized pieces, and I really only had this little bit of fat to trim off, excess fat-wise, so I really got my money's worth. I'm going to brown this off in some Wild Tree smoky bacon flavored grapeseed oil. It's delicious. It's probably one of my favorite oils, and it just adds another layer of flavor, and the grapeseed oil is healthy and it has a high smoke point, so you're not going to burn it. Anyways, it's not healthy to bring an oil above its smoke point. It becomes very unhealthy for you. So that being said, let's go over to the stove and get this started. Okay, so I've got my pan heating up. It's just about there. And this is a enamel covered cast iron. My favorite pot besides my bean pot, and they both live on the stove, but I was going to do it in the bean pot, but then when I saw how much meat that was, I decided I better make a big pot, and then I can send some back with my husband. I'll just put it in the freezer. So you're going to have to, when you have this much meat, you have to, or you should be browning it off in batches instead of all at the same time. So, let's get this first layer down, get it browned off, and I'll bring you back when I've got it all browned and it's all back in the pot. Okay guys, so now we've got our vegetables. I have 3 large cloves of garlic. I diced it up really fine. I've got a big onion here, some celery, and some carrots. And I'm going to put that down in with the meat. I've also added, I did salt and pepper the meat because you want to layer your flavors. And then I deglazed the pan with about 1/2 cup to 3/4 cup of Cabernet Sauvignon. And it would be one that you would want to drink. as well. So what I'm going to do is get the vegetables all in there so we don't have a lot of splashing going on with the liquid. I just find it to be a little bit easier. And so these are my aromatics. They really flavor the broth as well as giving everything just such a rich depth of flavor. And you're getting all the goodness from these vegetables. These are all organic. I try to buy organic whenever possible, and really, to me, it's just like the beef. It's the extra money is worth it. I've also got 3 bay leaves here. I'll fish those out at the end. And give this a toss here. I'm going to add my, ooh, I already like it. And you could saute that at this point, but I'm not going to. I'm going to go ahead and add my water. Because of it being a chuck roast, it's going to be very flavorful as far as there's, you know, that marbling of fat going through it. So here's 4 cups, but you know that's not going to be enough. So 8 cups of water. You could add beef stock at this point. I could have opened up a quart of beef stock, but I'm going to do it this way just because we don't normally have beef. And you want to let this simmer so it becomes a really rich, pretty clear broth. And now what I've got is the Wild Trees. It's a beef bouillon base. Okay, and add, let's see, what does it say? The ingredients: beef broth powder, mirepoix, onion, salt, sugar, corn oil, carrot, celery, spices, red wine, soy sauce powder. I don't have my glasses on, sorry. Sea salt, organic, evaporated cane juice, onion powder, garlic powder, celery powder, black pepper, parsley, and it contains soy and wheat. So they do list any allergy things on their labels too. I'm going to do 3 healthy teaspoons. That's a teaspoon for the table, not a measuring teaspoon. And then my favorite old spoon here. We're going to bring this back up to a simmer, and it looks good already. And I'm going to add a few other spices here. I love rosemary. If you have fresh rosemary, do that, but I don't. So I've got some dried rosemary here. Maybe, you know, a healthy pinch of that. You can always adjust your spices later as you go. Gotta have time in my little world. Love thyme. And again, if you had fresh thyme, that would be even better. About a half a teaspoon of dried thyme will be it will equate to probably a tablespoon of fresh. Okay, so I'll bring you back when this is up to a simmer and tell you what I'm going to do next. Okay, so you can see it's coming up to a nice simmer here. I want to make sure that I go ahead and layer some more salt and pepper. And I've tasted this broth. The one thing about Wild Tree, their products are not salty at all, so you do have to add extra seasoning salt-wise because they don't put the preservatives in. It's a lot of stuff that just have salt just as a preservative. And we've gotten so used to stuff being overly salty that if you're on a salt-restricted diet, these are great products because they just don't put them in there. Okay, so that's my cracked black pepper. Now I want some red pepper flakes as well. This container doesn't want to help me. So I'll take a pinch out. pinch of red pepper flakes for some background heat. I'm going to add, for color and a little layer of flavor, I'm going to turn that down now because I just want it to simmer now. So a good tablespoon of kitchen bouquet, and it changes the color a little bit more to a rich, hearty flavor, and then a couple dashes of Worcestershire sauce. Just a little bit, maybe a teaspoon. And let this simmer. It already looks delicious, doesn't it? Okay, now I've got to get on to the next vegetables that I'm going to use in this. See how pretty that broth is already? Nice. I will be doing some roasted vegetables as well, so I'll take you over and show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to put the lid on this and let it simmer away, because this really needs to simmer until that beef is just tender and falls apart. So it'll be a few hours. So what I've got here is some diced up sweet potato and about a half of a sweet potato. I don't want too much stuff going on in here or it turns into no longer soup. So, and then the lighter pieces, this is butternut squash that I cut up, maybe a quarter of the butternut squash. I like to have this on hand all cut up in a bag in the refrigerator. In fact, I'll show you. I've got a dish planned for later in the week that I'll bring you along for, and I'll be using this right here. And this, it's so easy now for a quick weeknight meal to put it together. So, but this is what I want for my stew. So I'm going to use that bacon, smoky bacon flavored oil, and you just kind of drizzle it. You could use olive oil, but again, this is a healthier oil. I'm going to do some fresh Himalayan pink salt down there, some cracked black pepper, and then I'm going to get messy. These two vegetables are just superfoods, and I like to keep some of this diced up and steamed for my grandson. He just absolutely loves it. And then I've got some garlic powder, or granulated garlic actually, that I'm going to put down over here as well. This will add another difference in flavor. There's garlic in the soup, but now we got to get dirty. And you're just going to toss this around with your hands. Make sure there's oil, coating, and seasoning on all the pieces as much as you can, so you feel like it's covered. And I've got this down on a foil-lined pan and then parchment on top of that. I'm going to put this in a 400-degree oven for, about 20 minutes, I would imagine. I'm not looking for it to be cooked through necessarily. I want the sugars to caramelize and just bring out the real rich flavor of these two vegetables. And I'm also going to sprinkle down some parsley. That's fresh Italian flat leaf parsley. Gotta have it. All right. Now, on to the next step. And I did want to mention I'm going to use quick cooking or quick barley. The long method, I've got other things going on and other videos to do today, so the long method, it just takes a little longer. It's an extra step, and I happen to have this in my pantry, so I'm going to go ahead and use it, and we're going to get cooking. And that only cooks in 10 minutes. So this goes in the oven. This has been simmering for hours, and I went ahead and skimmed the fat off. I have one of those, it looks like a measuring cup with a spout that starts out down low. So you can get some of that fat off the top. You don't want too much. I've got my beautiful roasted vegetables right here, and this is the sweet potato with the bacon flavored oil and the garlic, and also the butternut squash. So I put that in, and the reason I don't put it in earlier is I don't want it to get too soft and mushy. I want it to have some integrity, especially if you're going to be heating this up for leftovers. I've got 1 cup of quick cooked barley, and that will end up to be 2 cups in there. So I want to make sure I add enough liquid. I've had to add liquid a few times to this because, you know, it would cook down, but that's good. It concentrates all the flavors. That's what you want. So if it looks like I need to add more liquid, I will, but we're going to leave it at that for now. And as always, my secret weapon for beef or venison or any kind of red meat stew, lamb, delicious, some dried cranberries. And I just put a handful. You know, in a bowl, you might get 1 or 2 bites with it in there, and it's so delicious. I can't explain it. Trust me on this. It is that little end wow factor that you go, woo, what was that? Because it has that tangy bite. It's absolutely wonderful. So I'm going to let this cook for another 10 minutes or so. Kind of cooled it down a little bit, so we got to bring it back up to temperature, and then we'll bring you back when I'm serving this up. And we have this beautiful beef and barley soup, and I'm not going to thicken the broth. I want this to be like a soup, but how delicious and savory and hearty that is. And it's a cold winter day, so it's perfect. Anyway, I'll be back when I'm serving it up, and we're going to have some whole wheat French bread with this. It's going to be absolutely wonderful. Okay, finally, the end result of our all-day adventure with this beef and barley soup. It absolutely has just made this house smell like a very happy home. And it made a huge pot. We are going to have soup for a while, but I am going to freeze some of this and see how well it freezes. And then my husband can take that back with him. So my favorite part of this is taking that French bread or whatever kind of bread you might have. This is a whole wheat French bread. And getting in there and getting some of that juice. And let's take a bite of that first, because that soup is hot. Oh my goodness. That is delicious. Okay, we got some carrot, some barley. I see onion and some beef. We know that's tender. It's been all day. Oop, better grab a piece of butternut squash. Wow. Oh my goodness, that is so good. That's exactly what the doctor ordered for a cold night like it is tonight. It snowed most of the day, and it's going to get down really, really cold tonight. And where my husband is, it's going to be below 0 again. So anyway, I hope that this inspires you to make your own beef and barley soup. This was delicious. It did take some time, but really and truly, once you've got it in the pot, it's just the time of cooking. You're not having to tend to it or anything. And if you like this, I hope you give me a thumbs up. If you really like it, I hope you post it on your Facebook page if you happen to have one, and maybe go visit my Wild Tree website or my Facebook page. Leave me a comment over there and say hi. And as always, guys, I can't wait to see you next time. I got a bunch of videos coming up. All right, guys. God bless.